But if you got to know her, bet you she has any number of major personality flaws which seriously offset those gifts.
How about you take these, collect some money to offset the cost of the heist?
Right, so marketing thought we could offset some of the costs by
enough
selling...
about costs. We're here to raise $1,300 to offset our cheap public school system that's a little broke.
Why, just the other day, they uncovered evidence that smoking can offset Parkinson's disease.
Fixed costs to offset operating.
And this would offset that loss.
It offsets the cost of gas.
Then sell $45 calls to offset the purchase.
Maybe there's a way to offset his oldness. Put a hat on him. Dress him up like Angus Young in AC/DC, that schoolboy outfit. Maybe there's a way to offset his oldness.
In order to offset the cost of video hosts,
I don't know, maybe if I rented one or two out, I could help offset the mortgage.
So she came armed with something she hoped would offset the bad news.
But there are federal programs that can help offset the costs.
Net savings of $5,002.
Smile's slightly uneven, but it's offset by a strong jaw.
I am gonna need like 6 of these to offset.
We are trying to offset the negative impacts of change, so I have to work to offset that.
They're laid out around the National Mall, from the Capitol to the Lincoln Memorial.
Your house is laid out just like ours.
The fact that the architect who designed this place laid out the corridors in such a way that the smell from the kitchen carries right through and just lingers.
The city's laid out in a perfect grid. I can see how that could happen. 62nd Street, 3rd.
And whoever laid out this place.
But the events laid out by CIA Director Hundley also show a pattern of wanton brinksmanship and a total disregard for protocol.
Sometimes a ceiling fell in. There was a trench for a while.
And it was an old convent that destroyed during the earthquake. The ceiling fell in.
I'm pretty sure this is because the ceiling fell in on my mother while she was pregnant with me.
The ceiling fell in. The ceiling fell in.
Been living here for 8 years.
Welcome to the kitchen. We're filming here because the studio that I normally film in, the roof fell in. Yeah, literally, the ceiling.
A huge chunk of ceiling just fell.
My kitchen roof fell in and I was going to get tarp so the rain won't come in my house and flood up everything. And we run out of food.
You see a crumbling building. A lone structure out here in the wilderness. Obviously uninhabited, its roof fell in who knows how long ago. But its roof fell in who knows how long ago.
When the roof of the abbey fell in, during repair work, his tomb was found and his body exhumed in 1819.
He finally emerged from his grief and bought a rundown theater.
You see, Eddie doesn't care about you or Walter or that rundown orphanage.
He went into that old, abandoned, creepy, scary, rundown lighthouse.
Good job, you found our tiny little house in our rundown neighborhood so you could cook us poor people dinner.
It's a nice little villa, rather rundown, but redeemable.
It's a little run down, but it's still great.
It's kind of run down, but beautiful, beautiful view.
I know it's a bit run down, but wait till you see the inside.
She's probably just slightly run down, but I told her to rest up and we'll check in a few days.
I mean, look how run down you are.
These streets, this house, it's so shabby and run down.
Actually, not too shabby down here.
And I know this place may look really shabby now, but I think I can turn it into something really special.
There weren't any dining cars and the seats were all shabby. Oh, cheap and shabby.
Cannot have you walking around at this dinner party in the same shabby t-shirt.
I took a shabby room at the Breslau Hotel, which left me with no money to buy any food.
We moved the experiment into a shabby office in Bridgeport to deduct the potential intimidation factor of Ivy League prestige.
Mother won't have guests with a house so shabby.
Xavier and I, we went to Wilkinsburg High School, and then we moved into this tiny, shabby studio apartment about 2 blocks away from the tap house.
You can see that first the wings of the building have gone up. You can see that first the wings of the building have gone up. You can see the 2 separate wings of the building going up.
But the building was had gone up in 1878, so by the time Hopper painted it in 1930, it was actually an old building.
Locally, we've been kind of watching the building go up, and it's gone up so quickly. We were so surprised.
We appreciate the community watching with interest as our green building has gone up.
I would like to show a video because I can't tell you how many emails I get of people that have driven by and looked at the building as it's gone up, and how many people have stopped me on the street. And I would like for you all just to take a few moments to see a video of kind of how we got here today. I would like to show a video because I can't tell you how many emails I get of people that have driven by and looked at the building as it's gone up, and how many.
A new factory is going up at the site of the old airport. A new factory is going up at the site of the old airport.
A new factory is going up at the site of the old airport. A new factory is going up at the site of the old airport.
A new factory is going up at the site of the old airport.
The new no parking signs went up yesterday.
The new no parking signs went up yesterday. The new no parking signs went up yesterday.
Then when the building went up, there was the usual hassle. Anytime you change things, some people don't like it.
And then when the first big glass building went up, it hit me that, okay, we're going to create a haven for animals and birds in particular to migrate to, and then they will fly into window glass and die. And
this building went up in roughly between 1870 and 1878.
That building went up when I was a graduate student at Penn, and I was
drive, and then when the building went up, the new building was called the Freedom Tower.
But normally the two defining attributes for priority is the age of the building. In our case, we rank up there pretty good because the U building went up in late 70s. Good because the U building went up in late 70s.
The Chrysler Building may only have been the world's tallest for less than a year. It may have been disliked when it was first constructed, but the Chrysler Building is New York.
The statues went up on the original building back in 1878.
The building that went up in 1906 is Graham Court, a building that went up in 1906.
You're building I don't know how, 360 State Street. This is a new building that just went up in New Haven. Do you know this building?